Hello there, welcome to this video where we're going to be updating, I'm going to be updating my tier listings based on a bit of feedback I've had and also based on the new dwarves. So without any further ado, let's have a look at combat characters. Doomseekers. Instinctively I want to put them in A tier for a couple of reasons. The first thing is because they're single characters, so I know you can have 0 to 4 as a special choice, however you're normally limited to 3 of something in a game, so you're going to have 3 realistically. They get impact hits, they do quite a bit of damage, they're very easy to kill, but the good news is if they die then your opponent doesn't get victory points for them. So they're a good like store of value to kind of limit how much your opponent's getting for them. They can be taken as mercenaries in most dwarven lists, or in fact all dwarven lists actually, but mercenaries occasionally get bad stuff happens basically. But I want to make them A tier. I think they're pretty good. We haven't seen them on the table yet, but I think that kind of store of value is pretty useful. They are pretty beefy. Then let's have a look at some special characters. So we've got Thorgrim Ulexson, who is High King Thorgrim Grudgebearer, but a bit younger, a few hundred years younger than we remember. So he's just sat on an oath stone at the moment, rather than being carted around on this massive throne thing. He's interesting. I don't think I'd take him. Apart from if I was going to go for like a royal host list and just make the biggest unit of royal warriors and just stick him in them and make a massive unit of royal warriors unbreakable. Because you could have a big unit of royal warriors, you could have a Thane with giving the unit a 5 at ward, which would be good, which would then give him a 5 at ward. He's got a 4 at ward against killing blow or multiple wounds, which is very useful, or situational, but very useful. And his axe is fantastic. So he's strength 6, AP. AP is a bit of an issue, AP 1, armor bane 1. But he does have the Master Rune of Smiting, which is multiple wounds D6, and Rune of Parrying, so he's -1 to hit. So he's actually pretty good in a challenge. And yes, he gets hatred all enemies. What the problem with the Grudgestone is the unit can't move after it's been popped down. So you could like put a big unit in front of an anvil and then have the anvil basically protect the rear of the unit. But I think you can give Royal Warriors drilled as well. So I think he's good. But well, if you've seen my dwarf list videos, you'll know that I didn't choose him. I went for a different option. But I think there is a list that builds to his strengths. The same is sort of true of Ungrim, in that he's quite expensive, but he does allow you to basically build a Slayer hold list. So for that reason, I think he's good. He's got a 4-up save, which is quite good for a Slayer, because no Slayers have armor apart from this one. And he's got a 5-up ward inbuilt, which is great. He's got the Axe of Dargo, which makes him strength 6, AP 3. Bear with me a sec. Kids are deciding volume is the answer today. Yeah, and he's got the death blow and all the normal Slayer rules as well. So he's very good because of what he allows you to do with the army. Plus also he's weapon skill 9, which I think only the Bloodthirster is higher. So he's pretty gnarly, even though he's quite young at this point. I really like him, and I really like the idea of a Slayer army. But it's quite difficult to build. So I think he's good. Now, Thorgrim's not there. He's kind of probably better than an Empire General. He's about on par with a normal Dwarf Lord, actually. I think think about there actually. Right, are there any other combat characters that I want to move around? The Death Hag is better than I thought because she's got strike first and you can make her do really cool stuff. So she's not as good as a Tomb Prince. And yeah, the only reason I think she goes there actually. Anybody higher up that I want to bring down? No, I don't think so. I think I'm pretty happy with all of that, to be honest. I don't think anybody's too high. Maybe that skink needs to go up a little bit, but I think that's it. There we go. Seth, call that one. So that's my new tier listing for characters, for combat characters. So we've got a new chariot for dwarves. Dwarves have a chariot, of course, except their chariot is a little cart thing. I think it's good. It's pretty much an auto include because of the +1 move, and the fact you've got drilled with so many units just makes +1 move with a Bugman's cart really, really super useful. It's toughness 5 with a 5-up save and 3 wounds, so it's relatively easy to take down with shooting. It's got a few impact hits, but it's only a light chariot, so they've got no AP. The miner's cart can really only be taken with... so if you take the Grand Army, you can take Dwarf Carts as a rare choice, but then again you're competing with Organ Guns and Iron Drakes, so you're probably not going to do that, aside from for a Bugman's cart. A Miner's cart, you might take them in an Expeditionary host to give everybody stand and shoot reactions with blasting charges, which is pretty good. But yeah, I think it's an auto include, but it's good because of the utility it gives you. It's not good because of its stat line is woeful, but it does add quite a bit of utility. It's pretty much a support chariot really, rather than being a combat chariot. So I'm going to put it at the bottom end of good, to be honest. It's because it adds something to the army, but it's not. It doesn't like do a lot of damage or act like a normal chariot, but it is technically a chariot. So that's chariots. I'm pretty happy with all the others, to be honest. I don't really want to move any of those around. Right. Support characters. Sappers are very good because of what they allow you to do. Where are we? Sappers. Okay, so they give this dig in thing. So a character and join the unit becomes behind partial cover and defending a low linear obstacle, which is great because basically defending a low linear obstacle turns off your opponent's initiative advantage when charging. So that's basically like giving the unit the banner of confusion, I think it is. Is it confusion or disorder? One of them, anyway, one of them is disorder charge. And also any enemy model that ends its movement within the command range of this character, so 9 inches, ends its movement, so must make a dangerous terrain check. So that's like any movement, any charge, like a follow-up, fall back in good order. They're just great. Like, you know, all that dangerous terrain test just for being 9 inches of this dude, right? He's just absolutely fantastic. And you just stick him in a unit, and you know, I mean, this is better than stand and shoot, to be honest, because like if somebody charges a unit of 30 skeletons, they're going to lose 5 to dangerous terrain. It's just brilliant. In fact, I'm tempted to put him in S tier actually because of that. Although, yeah, Bray Shamans are quite good. I think again, it's well, these are support characters, so it's other than that, it doesn't really. That's the I think it goes up there, to be honest. It's not as good as a Necromancer, but not far off. Then we've got Burlock Damminson, who's an engineer. He's actually quite cheap for an engineer. He's 85 points. He's got pretty much the same stats as a normal engineer. So he's got another attack, another weapon skill. He's got this furnace hammer, which is great. He's got a rivet gun. He also makes he's got the normal engineer rule. In addition, Burlock and a unit is joined do not suffer the unit's normal -1 to hit when shooting at long range. So that's pretty good as well. It's a pity you can't make him join a war machine. Because if you put him, you know, if you imagine putting him in an organ gun, so organ guns didn't have to be at -1 for long range, that would be insane. But still pretty good. Yeah, and he can do the normal entrench a war machine, but also he can entrench a single unit of Quarrelers or Thunderers. So he's got so much utility. He's definitely up there with the Sapper. He's very, very good. I really like him. Yeah. And actually now the Dwarf Engineer has... Where's the Dwarf Engineer? What have I done with the Dwarf Engineer? Dwarf Engineer is now, because of... So Dwarf Engineers, what they've got now is we've got these Engineers weapons runes, which don't say they're only for Engineers, but anyway, these are really, really good. It's a pity you can't take them in a royal host, because then you can take more than 50 points. The limit really is Engineers have only got 50 points of runes they can spend. So, you know, you can't combo up as much as you'd like to, which is a mistake I made on my Engineer video. So I need to go back to that really and revisit it now Old World Builder is actually working. But still, it's very good. Rune of Piercing and Enchanted Rune, for instance, or Bursting Flame and Rapid Fire. Those go well together. So I definitely think that Engineers are now towards the mid-end. They're better than that. They're probably on par with the Runesmith, to be honest, in terms of the utility they add. Yeah, I think that's about right. So is anything I'd like to move around? That's definitely the best. That's good. That's very good. Yeah. I think Necromancers go up a tier, definitely. I think I was a bit mean with Night Goblins. I think they go up. And yeah, Goblins go up. They're better than Skink Priests. Skink Priests actually aren't that good, I don't think. So they can go probably there. Yeah, they're on par with the Heralds. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. That'll do for now. WEF is what that one's called. The random finger generator. Right, moving on to Core Infantry. We've got a new Core Infantry. This is just for the Royal Host, but it's a doozy. They're brilliant. So 10 points, well, 13 points if you've gone Drilled, Stubborn and Veteran. 0 to 1 unit per 1,000. So, you know, in a 2,000 point game, you're only going to have 2 units of these if you really want to, and that'll fill out your 500 points. Don't worry about that. They can go for Gromrel Great Axes, but they lose their shields. So, you know, pros and cons with that. But the Gromrel Great Axes are great. They're just normal Great Axes with AP3, but no Armour Bane. So they don't have the Armour Bane one. Now, of course, you can still stick a Runesmith in with that unit and have them at AP3, Armour Bane 2. Because the Runesmith gives you Flaming and Armour Bane 2, which would be amazing. So you can make them really, really good. They can buy standards of up to 75 points. So you can do some really good stuff with that. You can do some really cool combos. So you can give them like Hesitation and Confusion. If you've just gone for like a big unit of like 30 of these as like your core choice, you know, Hesitation and Confusion on there, meaning no impact hits, no lances, no initiative bonuses for charging them. They just look like an absolute nightmare of what are essentially pretty, on the face of it, pretty basic normal dwarf warriors. But because of all this other stuff that you can do with them, they're like really, 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 really good. And of course, you know, Stubborn and Shield Wall means that they basically just get pushed back the first round of combat that they lose. They're just fantastic. So I really like them. I think they're really good. They're probably up in terms of Core Infantry. Are they as good as Forsaken? I think actually because of what you can do with them, they might be S tier. Oh, they might be S tier. They're top of A, I think. Are they as good as Night Goblins? I think Night Goblins probably need to go up to S tier because of Fanatics. But yeah, they're normal goblins. People said I was down on normal goblins. I disagree. I don't think normal goblins. Normal goblins are cheap and there's lots of them. Same as Noblars. It's the same sort of thing. Apart from they can have nasty skulkers and stuff, which are okay, but they're quite expensive for something that's quite swingy. So I'm pretty happy with that. Do Plague Bearers go up? I don't think I've been mean with Plague Bearers. They're about on par. Chaos Warriors, just not chosen warriors, are pretty rubbish. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Cool. So that's core stuff. And then we've got Elite Infantry. So this one is not so good. We've got these new Imperial Dwarf. In fact, before we get on to that, let's just quickly go through and make sure I've got everything right. So Iron Breakers and Iron, what are they? They're Hammerers. They are S tier. The problem is that nobody takes them because nobody's going to attack them because they're just too good. So I think maybe they come down, and I think Iron do Black Orcs. I think Black Orcs and Iron Breakers go up. Yeah. So anything else I want to move around? Longbeards are pretty rubbish. These are Witch Elves. I think I've been a bit down on. I think Witch Elves are good. There's a lot you can do with them that make them good, and I think Sisters of Slaughter are slightly worse, so they're probably top of C, bottom of B there. Cool. So let's have a look at these mercenaries. So they're 8 points, so they're pretty much the same points cost as a normal dwarf. You can give them drilled and veteran. They can go as mercenary in Dwarf and Mountain Holds and Empire of Man. I really like what they're doing with Dogs of War. I'd really like it if we get like a Dogs of War style faction at some point. That would be really cool. Made out of all the kind of the Dogs of War units. So you can sort of take your own characters. I really like how, like, with every book that comes out, they're building out the Dogs of War contingent. I think that's cool. Anyway, so we got these Dwarf Mercenaries. They can take thrusting spears, which means they're initiative 3 and can fight in the next rank when they get charged, which is okay. You can obviously combine that with shields. You can only take one of the following, so you can't give them thrusting spears and crossbows, which would have been perfect, but you can't do that. It's one or the other, really. So yeah, I mean, they're okay. They don't get dwarf crafted though, which is, you know, so if you give them crossbows or handguns, they don't get dwarf crafted because that keyword is normally tied to the unit. So these are just normal weapons. So, you know, you need to upgrade them to heavy armor if you want that. But heavy armor and shields takes you to 10 points, which is the same as these. But these are so much better because they've got Gromwell armor and Gromwell. So Gromwell armor, the reroll 1s to save. Gromwell weapons, AP 1 as standard. You know, they don't have either of those, and they're the same points cost and pretty much the same stat line. So they're just not very good. They can have weapons and spears are quite cool, but like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think they're very good. I think they're okay, and they're a bit flavoursome in like but for elite infantry, because they're not core, you know, that they are by definition elite. I think they might even go trash. They're just very underwhelming. And dwarves with spears, like, people think that might be cool, but I just think it's a very expensive spear unit. So I'm going to put that there. So this time. Right. And then we've got, now, Warlock Doomriders. I think I forgot to do them last time, so I'm going to make them very good for now. I think they are very good. The Gyrocopter isn't quite S tier, so we've got a Scout Gyrocopter. The Gyro Bomber is It's good, yeah, but you won't take it over a gyrocopter. That's the problem. So yeah, they're good, but objectively, but you're not going to see them on the tabletop because there's two options which are just better. And in fact, I'm just going to put that there for now. I think they're pretty. The Scout and the normal one are pretty much on par. So, and here's why. So a normal gyrocopter has toughness 5 and it has a 4-up save. So this has worse armor and lower toughness. Same wounds though. Same sort of other profile, apart from the fact that the Scout gyrocopter has ballistic skill 4 and it's only armed with a clatter gun. So, which has got quick shot and move and shoot. So you get to move. Now they've got fly 10. Gyrocopters have got fly 9. So they get to move 20 inches and shoot with no penalty. The only penalty is multiple shots. So you've got 20 inches, 12-inch close range. You're probably close range most of the time. So you've got D6 shots hitting on 4s, strength 4, AP 1, armor bane 1. So that's pretty decent. They've also got hit and run, which is pretty cool. Should it win a round of combat, can fall back in good order rather than making a follow-up or pursuit move. It does have impact hits, so it could charge in like against a wizard, and you could have like a normal gyrocopter also charge in. The Scout can then fall back in good order and then essentially stop somebody coming in and reinforcing, perhaps. And they've also got this extended formation. If you want to take a unit of 2, then you can stick them sort of 3 inches apart. I wouldn't take units, just MSU it with gyrocopters. So I think this is a worthwhile inclusion, and I really like the idea of taking 2 of those and 2 of those in an expeditionary host, or maybe even 3 and 3. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that combo there. Right, is there anybody else in light cavalry that I've got wrong? Seekers. Oh, Seekers are so fast though. I'm gonna bring. Oh no, I've already done it. I was just thinking I would have brought the Marauder horsemen down. Yeah, I think they die too easily against shooting. Anyway, war machines. We've got the Goblin Hewer. It's good. It's good. You take it over you might not take it over a bolt thrower, actually. Yeah, it's good. It goes there, I think. I'll show you why. It's kind of cool, but also quite limited. So it's got a 36-inch range, which is a pretty decent range. It's got toughness 6, 3 wounds. That's it. It's got cumbersome, which means you can't move and shoot with it, and it's got whirling doom, which are its attacks. So it's got cumbersome, which means you can't stand and shoot with it. It's got move or shoot, which means you can't move and shoot with it. And it's basically hits like a handgun essentially. So you roll an artillery dice for the number of shots. You need to roll to hit with ballistic skill 3. It's not multiple shots, so you're not -1. You just might be -1 for range, basically. So within 18 inches, you're hitting all these on 4s. So you roll an artillery dice. Use the stone throw misfire table, which is the same as the black powder misfire table. Which 1 is it blows up. 2 to 3 means I think you lose a crew and you can't fire this turn or next. And 4 to 6 is just can't shoot. I think off the top of my head. So anyway, you get per rank, you have D3 per rank if you're in the front or rear, and per file if you're in the flank arc, basically. So I guess like if you get it looking at the side of like a unit of cavalry, for instance, you know, if there's like 5 of them, then you know, it's 5d3 plus artillery dice, so like 18 shots. But even so, against your average like Empire cavalry unit that's probably got about 10 troops in, you know, so you got 5d3, so that's like 10 shots. Artillery dice, let's be generous and give it 8, so that's 18 shots. Let's give it short range, or not long range, sorry. So 9 hit, 6 wound. Like 1 of them's going to be AP2, which will fail, and the other 3 should put. So 3 die out of 10, and then the unit of cavalry charge into something, and then you can't shoot at them again. So you know, you've got maybe, what, 60 points back with that one shot, and then it'll probably get its points back, to be honest. Yeah, I think I'm being a bit mean on it. I think it'll probably get its points back. Because that's like 50-50. It'll probably, yeah, maybe, is it 80? I don't know. That's in the wrong category. That should go up to S tier, I think. That's very good. I got that. I got the casket wrong last time. So, yeah, cannon. It's probably better than the cannon. In fact, it might even be A tier. I think I'm going to put it there. I think I've been a bit mean with it. These are all rubbish for a whole variety of reasons. That's about right. Yeah. Oh, I've got some capitals this time. And that's it for the dwarves, actually. I think I've gone through all the dwarves. Have I missed something? Goblin Hewer, Chariot, Scout Gyrocopter, Mercenaries, Royal Clan, Doom Seekers, Sappers, Burlock, Ungrim, and Thorgrim. Yeah, that's all the dwarves added. Go away. Right, so let's just quickly review the other ones just to make sure I've got these right. Yeah. Some people don't like these. What are they called? Vargeists or whatever. Because they've got frenzy. But I mean, I've been talking with people who take them to tournaments, and they say that it's really not a problem. The whole sort of frenzy thing, in that you always get to do, because they skirmish and they've got so many attacks. They've got stuff like poisoned attacks and so on and so forth. And they've got fly 9 or 10 or whatever. So basically, you can get like 18 inches, and you can give them reserve move as well fairly easily. So you can get them like 30 inches into a position where they can't be charged, and then they've normally got like 3 or 4 different charge targets anyway. So the frenzy, you know, it doesn't matter because you'd want to charge. The only downside of frenzy is that you've got to overrun if you're overrun. So that can be a bit of a problem, and you can be pulled here, there, and everywhere. But apparently they're very, very good, and it works out in theory as well. Yeah, reasonably. Razor Gores are trash. I don't know why I put them there. Could I? No, they're just not. You just look at the stat line. They're just not very reliable. Chaos Dwarves and Chaos Ogres are pretty bad. Chaos Spawn. People said I was a bit down on Chaos. I'll put Chaos Ogres up, actually. I'll put them level with normal Ogres. In fact, they're probably better than normal Ogres because you can give them great weapons and marks of corn and stuff. So Chaos Ogres are better than I was being a bit mean with them. Apparently, these I got wrong, but I don't think so. I think they're just too expensive. They are quite scary when they're on the table, but don't know what's going on. This is monsters, just standalone monsters, which are different to Monstrous Mounts. I see Close Order X 6++ has done a thing on behemoths, but I think that there is a massive difference between standalone monsters and Monstrous Mounts. The main difference really is that Monstrous Mounts, you tend to see them with stacks and stacks of saves. Like, yes, they've got toughness 6 and multiple wounds, but also they tend to have, like, you know, 2 or 3 up saves, some re-rolling stuff, a ward save, a regen, all that kind of stuff. These guys don't. These guys have really just got their toughness. The Shaggoth you can upgrade to being pretty defensive. And actually, and I think this is where Matey Boy from Old World went wrong, from Close Order, sorry, went wrong, is that Chaos Giants with regen of 6 up and a heavy armour for 230 points. I know it's another 30 points on a normal giant, but it's so useful. Like, it's swingy, but you tend to find that swingy things come off when you need them to. And it's got a real psychological impact on your opponent if, like, they hit you with a cannon, you just regen it. Yes, it's on a 6, so it's not going to happen very frequently, but it happens. If you've got 2 of them in your army, it's going to happen at least once a game. It's just going to mess with your opponent's head. So Giants, to me, are all still A tier, like all of them. Somebody said that the Bone Grinder Giant, sorry, wrong franchise. Bone Grinder is definitely S tier. I don't know. I suspect, because like this is 300 points, right? And I can take 2 giants for 400 points. So, 300 points. I could take a Bone Grinder and a giant for 500 points in like rare for my chaos if I wanted to. Which, in fact, you could take... No, because Bone Grinders are mercenaries, aren't they? So you could take a Bone Grinder and 2 Chaos Giants anyway, which is pretty cool, like a big sort of giant list. I might do that at some point. I've definitely got the Giants knocking around. But yeah, I think these are all kind of on par. They should be like level, really. I think because of the defensive stuff that you can do to the Chaos Giant makes it slightly better. And I think realistically, like... If you had unlimited points, so 2 of those would be 3 of these. I think 3 of these beats 2 of those any day. So that's just my... The thing with Bone Grinders is they're not very good against, like, particularly cavalry. Because cavalry count as little things, and the little things attacks that they have aren't very good. They're good against monstrous infantry, and against monstrous things, they're very good. But against cavalry in particular, in fact, small units they're okay against because they've got like a flame weapon attack. They've got a like a stone thrower sort of attack, and they've got jump up and down. That, so they are pretty good. But against like small units of cavalry, they're not so good. A unit of chosen could take this out in a turn of combat as well. So. And it hasn't got the charge bonus. And yeah, if you've got battle magic, and if you're orcs and goblins, you've got like 3 million wizards and whatever. So I think that they've all got pros and cons. They've all got arguments for and against. But I think that this I'm pretty happy with all that being there. Yeah. This Charybdis. Oh, that's the Hydra. Where's the Charybdis? Charybdis, I think, is... I didn't clock that it was... Strength 7 last time, so I actually think it goes there, and I think that comes down to there. It's good, but it's not got as much. The Frostheart Phoenix hasn't got as much utility as like 2 Great Eagles, to be honest. So taking that as a standalone, as a mount, different proposition, but as a standalone monster, probably not going to see it very much. Cool. Although these you probably are going to see in tournament armies. In fact, that you will, but that's only because the rest of Skaven is rubbish. Everything else, you probably won't see a Cygor over a Gorgon, for instance. Wef. Save it. Damn it. For when I update it next time. Right. These are light infantry. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. There's nothing here. Is there anything here that I'd move around a bit? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. No, I'm happy with that. That's fine. And then Monstrous Mounts. So I've got the Necrolith, Chaos Dragon, High Elf, Top Dragon, whatever it's called, Sun Emperor, Universe Dragon, whatever, and then the Dark Elf. The Dark Elf Dragon is definitely the best. Chaos Dragon comes second. These two might swap around. I'm not sure. You see that a lot. That's very good. Now, people said I was down on the Lamassu because of what it does. I'm just assuming it's the Great Bale Taurus. I don't know why you take a Bale Taurus over a Great Bale Taurus. It's only an extra 30 points for it being, like, not twice as good, but not far off. Yeah, Terrorgeist is a good mount, obviously. Mortis... In fact, is it, though? I mean, it's a Terrorgeist with more combat potential, so that makes it excellent, really. I really like the Great Unclean one, mainly because you can give it, like, a 4-up armor save, 5-up ward, 5-up regen... like with toughness, what is it, 6 or 7 or something, and like 8-9 wounds. It's just ridiculous. And it's a level 4 wizard, and it's actually no slouch in combat, so Great unclean one I absolutely love. I think it's great. Obviously, clues in the name. Yeah, all of this is a bit rubbish. Which is a pity about the Manticore, the Dark Elf Manticore, because like you really want to take a Beastmaster list so you can take extra Charybdis. So if you make your Beastmaster the General, then you can take a Charybdis as a special choice, so you can have 3 of them. But then, like, you know, it's yeah. I don't think any of that really needs to move. To be honest, I'm quite happy with that. Yeah. Oh, hold on. Where's the Carnosaur? Definitely needs to go to the top end of good. In fact, bottom of very good. Actually, Carnosaurs are more scary than I think. So then is immediately apparent looking at like their stat line. And then finally we've got heavy cavalry. I think I possibly made a mistake here. I think Chosen are probably top end of very good, but they're quite easy to kill. I think Boar Boyz going to S tier now. Because they're so cheap and for what they do, I'm going to upgrade them. Matey from Close Order has got that absolutely spot on. I think I made a mistake there. They're not the best heavy cavalry in the game though. Like you compare them to Pegasus Cavalry, not a spot. You compare them to Thunder Tusk. Thunder Tusk just steamroll them all day every day. Yes, the Boar Boyz are going to get the charge off in the first round of combat. They're going to do like what, 2 or 3 wounds, maybe kill 1. The other 3 will then kill at least 5 or 6 Boar Boyz and win the combat, and then they get their impact hits when they pursue against the fullback in good order, and then that unit dies. So that against that loses almost every time, even point for point. Blood Knights do, in fact, weirdly, these both do definitely lose against that. In the first round of combat. However, this has Pegasus Knights have so much more utility, and actually you only need 1 to stay alive, because like I said, a unit of 3, right, if 1 is still alive, you know, ideally with Pegasus Knights, really you want to challenge every time, because you want the champion to die, because you want the one that's alive at the end to be the standard bearer, because then you can fly away with the standard bearer and not give your opponent a single victory point for that unit, right? So get your champion dead as quickly as possible, and then leave the standard bearer, because if you've got 3, they don't get any victory points, because it's only when you get to below 25% or of the unit. So 3, leaving the standard bearer alive, they don't capture the banner, all good. So I'm pretty happy with that. I don't think they go there, actually, to be honest. I think they go sort of around here. I think I've been a bit generous with the Necroserpents. Yeah, they all look pretty elite. They're all pretty standard. Empire Knights are very cheap. I've been told they're better than I gave them credit for, so I'm going to put them up there with Chaos Knights. They're okay. Hex Wraiths I think are good, actually. I misread the rules. They get so whenever they fly over an enemy unit, every single model does a like a little sort of trailing attack. It's quite difficult to wield because they're not actually that fast. So flying over an enemy unit is not going to happen very frequently, but when it does, it's going to have a bit of an impact. Not a massive one. It's only like strength 3, AP 1 or something, but still, it's something, isn't it? So yeah, they're kind of similar to pterodons, but slower and a bit better in combat. So yeah, that's my my tier list video. Updated, all updated. Let me know what you think. I might do some deep dives into like individual like units within the dwarf thing to talk about how you might want to use them on the table when you get them painted. But I think that's it for me today. This is the 3rd video I've recorded today. I'm a bit tired now, and I'm going to go and have a beer and watch the Olympics. It's because it's Sunday when I'm recording this. Saturday when I'm recording this. I'll probably put it out like Tuesday, Wednesday next week. So because I don't want to like drop all my videos at once. YouTube doesn't like you when you do that. Cheers, and I hope your nation does well in the Olympics. if you're interested in sport, and if not, whatever. Also, if you've liked the video, do that thing to express yourself. If you haven't liked the video, keep it to yourself. No, I mean, I don't care. If you've got this far, you possibly might want to consider subscribing. It's all this. It's me wittering at camera. I'm now going to try and this video that I'm just about to do will require some editing though. I'm going to try and do Elise Ducat and do like I want like a sort of 80s dark fantasy, dirty but not dirty kind of, like not quite Renaissance, not quite grimdark, kind of not quite like updated 80s. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I've got this vision in my head as to how I want it to look. So her to look, and she is a beautiful model, and she's actually like, it's a female model with an actual woman's face. Games Workshop have this habit of, for female models, just basically putting boobs on men, whereas like sometimes they actually manage to get a feminine looking face. I'm looking at Khalida's death mask now. It's vaguely feminine. The nose is a bit too big. Like, yeah, anyway. They're not very good at like doing women, but Elise's face is actually looks like a woman for a change. So yeah, cool. What else do I need to say? I think that's it. Toodaloo.